Welcome to the WrestleTalk News. I'm Quinnell. There's been a lot of talk online lately about Adam Copeland, aka Edge, joining AEW, and we'll have more on that shortly, but there hasn't been much in the way of AEW stars joining WWE, aside from like Brian Pillman Jr., and that was a while ago. However, that may now be about to change, as Fightful Select is reporting that Jade Cargill is likely finished with All Elite Wrestling. Cargill returned on last week's Collision episode, setting up a rematch with Chris Statlander, which was made for this week's episode of Rampage. As Rampage is taped, that match has now happened, and spoilers, Chris Statlander won to retain her TBS title. Select is reporting that Cargill specifically returned so she could put over Statlander clean, and they also note that according to AEW sources, as things stand right now, Cargill is finishing up with AEW, with the September 13th taping being her last appearance. But perhaps more interestingly is what she's doing next, as Fightful Select is reporting that both AEW and WWE sources believe she's headed to WWE. It's worth noting that there reportedly hasn't been an official offer as of yet, and it's still unclear exactly how much time she has left on her AEW contract. But the current wide rumor amongst WWE and AEW rosters is that Jade Cargill will be joining WWE. Jade is one of the only truly homegrown AEW talent, so this does feel like a major shift for the promotion, but I personally am quite excited if we do get her in WWE. For matches against Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch, Asuka, it all sounds quite delightful. But there's also potentially more people going the other way too, as previously mentioned. The big names currently rumored to join AEW soon are Edge and Mercedes Moné, with Mercedes even teasing it on X, posting the lyrics to Edge's theme song. PW Insider had the latest on Edge, reporting that Adam Copeland had been removed from WWE's internal roster list, which definitely lends some credence to him at least being done with WWE at the very least. However, they then provided an update noting that he had actually been added back to the roster list, but was now listed as miscellaneous talent, which is where some wrestlers are listed who are signed but not currently in use, including those who are injured too. Sounds like they need to add Roman Reigns to that list. Am I right, guys? Because he's not on TV very much. Speaking of, speculation ran wild online recently as Roman Reigns was noticeably absent from WWE's advertising of next year's Royal Rumble event, which was confirmed to be taking place in Florida's Tropicana Field, leading some to think that Reigns may not be on the show at all. However, that is just speculation currently. What's not speculation though is that the AEW All in London Turnstile count has been revealed. Using the Freedom of Information Act, a request from a Mr. Ian M. Banders was sent to the Brent Borough Council asking what their recorded attendance for the show was, Brent being the borough where Wembley Stadium is located. The Brent Borough Council then responded, noting that the turnstile count they had on record was 72,265, which is reflective of the attendance on the night and not the total number of tickets sold or no-shows, etc. AEW announced a paid attendance of 81,035. However, the turnstile count for WWE's WrestleMania 32, according to WrestleNomics, was 80,709, over 8,000 more than All Ins, which does cast some doubt over AEW's claim of the biggest wrestling show of all time. It is still unclear which show actually sold more tickets as well, as All In could have had a much bigger no-show percentage, especially considering there were national rail train strikes on the day of the show, making travel especially difficult, so it still might be the biggest wrestling show of all time, but that entirely depends on your definition of it and whether you count tickets sold or the attendance on the night. Very conclusive. And now a word from today's sponsor. I said, and now a word from today's sponsor.
Pete, guess what? Here
we go.
I'm renaming the company.
Shocking news. Never heard that one before.
Here's what I've got.
I think I'm caught in a time loop.
Wrestling is power.
It's WIP. It's a work in progress.
I think it's pretty much the finished article. Undiluted solar plexus.
That's a USP.
Okay, how about energetic molecular toxicity?
EMTs.
I've got it, Pete! Violet prism nodules.
I get it. VPN.
Surfshark VPN is an online tool that keeps you safe wherever you browse by masking your important information, which means you can check sensitive stuff like your bank account even on public Wi-Fi. Surfshark keeps your location and download history private and encrypted, meaning you can send or receive files securely too, like my ongoing spreadsheet of 3-letter acronyms for the company. But on top of that, Surfshark also allows you access to any of 3,200 servers in over 100 countries, allowing you to fool your phone, laptop, laptop or tablet into thinking you're in a different country, meaning you Americans can still get the old WWE network. I love you, superior search function! If you click the link in the description down below or visit surfshark.deals/WrestleTalk, you can get 83% off plus 3 months for free when you use the code WrestleTalk on checkout. That's surfshark.deals/WrestleTalk and use the promo code WrestleTalk for 83% off and 3 months for free. It's Thursday, you know what that means. My review of AEW Dynamite in about 5 minutes. But if you take those 5 minutes along with my 33 1/3% chance of winning minus your 25% chance, that means I've only got a minus negative 141 2/3% chance of completing it. The Cincinnati, Ohio show opened cheering its bloodiest of sons, Jon Moxley defending his international championship against Large William Big Bill. Big Bill might have had more random pairings than the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. He's been with The Firm, he's been with Brian Cage, he's been with Ricky Starks this year alone. But no matter who he's packaged with, he has been consistently fantastic as an arrogant big man. He and Moxley had a great opener, particularly in the final third with a Big Bill bossman slam. Moxley bleeding everywhere, presumably because it's his hometown and he hadn't done that for a while. And Bryan Danielson brawling with Ricky Starks on the outside, furthering their feud. Big Bill got cocky in all this, and Moxley caught his arm in a triangle choke for the win. Later on backstage, Danielson announced he and Claudio will take on Long Willie and Starks on Collision. Mox will fight Phoenix at Grand Slam, and Eddie Kingston also appeared purely to give Claudio evils. I finally figured out what Don Callis and his paintings gimmick reminds me of. No, not a giant penis. The bad guy from Ghostbusters 2, Vigo! Don cut an in-ring promo to announce Takeshita's new nickname as the Alpha, and then declared beating that useless cuck Kenny Omega twice isn't enough. They're going to take what matters most to him next. They're going to butcher Kota Ibushi. Later on, Callis wanted some of that sweet Daniel Garcia dancing, yelling, "That's money" at him backstage. I think Garcia joining the family would be a great move. The only bad thing on the show was the fatal four-way of Shida, Britt Baker, Nyla Rose and Toni Storm to decide who fights Saraya for the title next week. Not because it was a bad match or anything, because it only went 7 minutes. 3 of which were in the commercial break. Those couple of main event spots last month appear to have only ever been lipstick service, as AEW is once again treating its women's division as a total afterthought. Orange Cassidy saw Hook's FTW title backstage and mournfully said how he used to have a title, which genuinely made the crowd and me go, "Aww." I'm very interested to see where Cassidy goes next. After falling out for the 163rd time last week, Les Sex Gods cut a respectful in-ring promo together here. Chris Jericho is proud of Sammy Guevara, having handpicked him before AEW's launch, watching him grow into a man. While Sammy is thankful for the opportunity, but they're both aware he needs to become more than Jericho's sidekick. Next week at Grand Slam, he'll have a chance to do just that, where Sammy vowed to earn Jericho's respect by beating him, even though Jericho is going to beat the living hell out of him. Then afterwards, they'll go to win the tag titles. I've not been into their relationship for about 2 years now, but this was effectively done. Page vs. Cage episode 3 was probably the least best of their trilogy of matches, but it was still awesome, with both guys having great chemistry together. At one point, I thought they were working so stiff, Hangman's Booby did a Cody. It's for the adversity! Quiet adversity! It was thankfully only Brian Cage's face paint that rubbed off him in a headlock. Hangman not only overcame face paint adversity, he also worked through Swerve Strickland's entrance music distraction, winning with a Deadeye for a change, likely effectively setting up a better near-fall spot when Swerve kicks out of that move at WrestleDream. Swerve, again, was excellent here. He didn't come down and get involved, he just stood at the top of the ramp, not smiling or cackling, but angry. Scornful, just made him feel more powerful, not lifting a finger himself as Cage and Prince Nana beat down Hangman after the match. The Young Bucks made the save, with Prince Nana creating your next GIF to use with the caption, "Me saving up enough money for a house deposit. Rising inflation costs behind you." We got a recap package of Jade Cargill returning on Collision to really rejuvenate AEW's women's division for years to go. Awkward. Darby Allin and Nick Wayne relatively easily dispatched 2.0 in a tag match, with a fun Wayne moonsault to the outside, Darby coffin drop on the inside off the same turnbuckle for the finish. But like most Darby segments these days, it was all just a prelude to the next great Christian promo. Already out on commentary, Christian grabbed a mic and confessed he's been scrolling through Nick Wayne's mum's Instagram account and she doesn't post enough bikini pics. He then challenged Darby and Sting for Grand Slam, but this time with his real tag team partner, which I got stupidly excited about because I thought he was going to say Edge, but then of course he said Luchasaurus, which makes way more sense because he was standing right next to him. The main event was the tournament final of Samoa Joe versus Roderick Strong, which AEW did a great job building throughout the night. Adam Cole had tried to warn Strong about how Joe injured his neck the first time around, and Max cut a promo on both guys he'll potentially face next week, with Cole looking annoyed while MJF ran down Strong, but then jubilant as Max did one of the best, most seamlessly integrated Scott Steiner math promos I've ever seen when he talked about Samoa Joe, playing it totally seriously rather than overly wink wink. My only criticism is that MJF said drastically go down, which is correct English, but not correct Steiner. That would be drastic go down. The actual match was a really well done heel versus heel dynamic, with Joe's badass awesomeness getting babyface reactions. The story and characters are so well developed here that heel versus heel gave the crowd many more elements to be invested in beyond just boo this person and cheer that guy. Taz was excellent on commentary too, not just explaining Joe's offense, which is very similar to his old style, but also putting over Roddy's neck injury with his own history of a broken neck. Roddy got a nice near fall at the end off an Olympic slam, but this was more a decisive victory for Joe, who made Strong tap in the Coquina clutch. Something was surely afoot though, as there were then about 5 minutes still left until the top of the hour. It was there for a very neatly done sequence of angles. As soon as Roddy saw Adam Cole come down to check on him, he immediately fell to the floor holding his neck, screaming, Adam! And had to be stretchered to the back. It was equal parts hilarious and really good storytelling for his and Cole's relationship. Standing alone on the ramp, watching Roddy be wheeled out, Joe then made a surprise attack on Cole, giving Joe versus MJF that extra bit of spice going into their title match next week. Their feud has been really effectively and succinctly told, a very welcome 4-week build as opposed to the usual 3-month elongated stories we get because of AEW's pay-per-view cycle. This was a very good, focused go-home show for Grand Slam. This week's Dynamite is 82%. Now go watch me listing all the times wrestlers warned us about CM Punk. After all the damage has already been caused, to point out. Yeah, actually, that's pretty obvious. That was all going to happen. You probably should have listened to all those alarm bells. But in the moment when you're just so happy the person who left you high and dry 7 years ago returns to your arms and says, "I ain't going anywhere, Ollie." How can you possibly hear sirens when you